All right, welcome back to a crappily produced video and recording session. And this week we've got Fadingsignal,
Hey,
who you guys should know from making lots of storms and fixing a light bulb and some other crap. I clearly don't use his mods. Fading,
yeah,
say hi.
hey, what's going on, everyone?
And are you okay with me using your real name?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay, it's Robert. I'm going to call him Robert because I'm just going to Fadingsignal's long. Calling that in a gunfight, he'd be dead if I was warning him. So, I've only known Fading for a little while, and in full disclosure on this one too, just like Ellie donated 10 cents to me to be a dick because PayPal takes the 10 cents. Yeah, I'm calling you out, Ellie. Fading has donated to me too. So once again, we're going to start with a softball. Fading, if you could go back in time and kill Hitler at 3 years old, would you do it?
Yes.
So you're advocating child murder?
Sure.
This is going to be a great interview. And as everybody else has noticed, Fading has a very, very sexy deep voice there.
Well,
so,
part of it is that I'm sick, so...
No, he didn't turn the bass up, so he just drowned me out with the manliness.
Oh, oops. So, yeah, somehow I always end up recording video. Like a couple of my tutorial videos for Skyrim editing, I'm sick in those as well. I don't know how it always ends up that way. It's really funny. So, yeah, part of my deep smoothness is just a sinus infection, so carry on.
All right, I'm going to have to get me one of those. Just give me a couple of them. So I hope it doesn't mind me mentioning this. Fading decided that he didn't know how to drive today and got into a car accident.
Oh, God. Yeah, it was awful.
And down here in California, which is surprising. How long have you lived at? I'm giving away where he lives. So Fading lives at...
Here's your address. No, I'm in LA, and I've been in LA for like 9 years, and I was in Orange County for probably 10 years prior to that. So
California your whole life?
Most of it, yeah.
I'm from Washington. That's why they're gonna hear you sniffling, me coughing without muting. So I got asthma when I moved down here 7 years ago. Jeez.
Yeah. Again, on that note, I apologize in advance for any gargling, hacking, snotting that I might be doing.
He's too nice. I don't give a shit about him coughing in the mic. So let's go back to I think the only mods I saw from you were from Skyrim onwards. So did you start modding early Skyrim, late? Like when?
No, so I got into, it's funny, I'm like quite a bit of a latecomer to all of this. I had Skyrim sitting on my hard drive for about a year. There was like, one of the many Steam sales that had all the DLC. And I was working too much and, I just didn't have time to get into it because I knew that it would be a time hole. But I finally fired it up it was January 2014. So January 2014 was when I first fired up Skyrim. Played through. Why am I even
talking to you? You're so newbie.
I know, it's super noob. Only been doing this stuff for like 2 years. But by I think it was April, I started getting into. I added a couple of mods, and my background, all of my career has always been software development and design, and so anytime I can get in and kind of reverse engineer something or add something to something or whatever, I'm just one of those kinds of people. I can't leave good enough alone. I got to tinker with it. So I started messing around, learning how to just retexture stuff. I wanted, I don't remember which armor it was, but I wanted like a gray variation. So it just went from there. And once I kind of learned how to, I'm giving you the long answer, by the way, sorry. Once I started kind of learning, how to work with textures, it sort of, it was just downhill from there, and I couldn't stop digging in and figuring out how to do, manipulate everything else. So yeah, my very first texture release, I think it was April 2014. It was like a moon retexture for the two moons in Skyrim. Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually do have a question. Cause I was curious about something because I think Ellie made a mention about it. Is that obviously you did the storms in Fallout only in Xedit. Did you do it in Skyrim as well, or did you actually use a creation kit?
I did purely Xedit in Skyrim as well. That was one of the first tools that I got acquainted with because, I wanted to just do kind of simple edits. And the CK for me has always felt really, really heavy and bloated.
It's because it is.
Yeah, and it would crash all the time. And I hated that. I always liked being able to just fire up, Xedit in 10 seconds, load my whole load order, make a change, quit, and try it out in game. So, I did it 100% in Xedit as well.
And since he's sounding too nice, I'm going to ask this one. What do you think about all the stupid fucks who constantly put shit up saying, I download this mod, but it's going to be overwritten when the CK comes out because for some reason they think the creation kit is magical and it makes me want to shoot myself.
there is a lot of kind of misinformation, and I forget, I mean, I was there too to some degree. I mean, like I said, I've always worked in software development, so I kind of already know a bit about what goes on behind the scenes. But I forget that there's a lot of people that are really new to all this, and they think that the CK is kind of magic. Like what was it? Somebody was talking.
I like how I call them dumb fucks, and you're like, oh, they're okay.
Oh, you'll find my answers are always mild. I'm like Captain Nice. Yeah, like I saw somebody saying that. They're like, oh, when the CK comes out, then suddenly all these armors are going to get ported. And I'm like, do you realize every armor port is all third-party plugins? Like Bethesda has never offered any mesh support of any kind in history. So I think, I can't say in history, I think they might have done that for Morrowind or something. But past that, everything has been third-party. So yeah, I think people will be sorely disappointed when they realize that it's not going to be a magical fix-all.
Now, see, you brought up a point that we brought up in the last video with Ellie, is that probably one of the biggest things that I'm hoping for if they do paid modding is that they will release tools.
Yeah.
Because what you just said is like one of the biggest hamperings for us.
Big time.
Is mesh support. And your thoughts, I'm gonna get everybody's thoughts on this one.
Sure.
Hate it or love it. Your thoughts on paid modding, like do's, don'ts. Are you going to? Do you think it's a good idea, et cetera, et cetera?
That is a very, very, very big can of worms, but I am happy to try to expand my thoughts a little. I did post kind of an official perspective on it when it was all happening. And again, it was sort of, me being kind of moderate and middle of the road with a lot of things because I see both sides. I think that the rollout for Skyrim was just flat out terrible. I think they didn't really realize what they were getting into. I think that was pretty clear within 24 hours. And so the rollout was terrible. Am I against it entirely on principle? No. And it's not a popular opinion. There was a lot of witch hunts for a lot of the popular authors.
Yeah, I should have Chesko lined up for an interview. That's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I mean, I was honestly, and I posted about this too. So if, people want to be upset at me about it, they can go and be upset at my previous post. That the way people responded to the whole thing was really immature and ridiculous.
I was one of those immature people.
Well, maybe, sure. But I mean, I don't know. It's one thing to be upset, but people were going on full witch hunts. You know what I mean? It was ridiculous. And without really knowing the full details.
Yeah, so I mean, I agree. I think 99% of the people were arguing based on the we don't want to do paid mods bull crap, and the one like I was arguing on it's a shitty deal.
Yeah,
like
totally.
I'm glad it kind of didn't go through, but the problem was that 99% of the arguments were bad.
Yeah, exactly. There was a lot of arguments like, as you mentioned when you were talking with Ellie about it, she said the same thing. A lot of arguments were, well, it's always been free, so you can't change it now. It's like that. The argument doesn't really work. Things evolve, things change, but they have to be better, not worse. And what they initially proposed was not a good solution. So I was, against the rollout. I'm not against it fundamentally. I mean, there was a point where, when I first started getting wind of it, I actually got excited because I was like, hey, I've heard people that do stuff for Team Fortress 2 and a couple other games that have had paid mods where, they have made it their career. Like some people are making almost six figures, making, furniture and boxes and set dressing and outfits and hats and whatever. So it could be a legitimate career path for people. And, I got kind of excited about that idea. And, again, once it rolled out and I saw what it really was, it was like, nah, this is not the right way to do it. And again, they pissed everyone off. They kind of stuck their head in the hornet's nest. So they could have eased into it better. I have a lot of opinions on it, so I could babble on forever, but
it's more like they walked up and like beat the shit out of the hornet's nest with a bat and then ran and shoved their head in a hole because nothing came out.
Yeah, well, it's surprising to me. It actually made me wonder how much Bethesda actually pays attention to the modding community. I mean, I know
they don't.
That's what it seems like. I mean, I know they know it's there. I know that they see numbers on a spreadsheet when they have their meetings and stuff. And Todd Howard's probably seen some mods that, developers have been like, hey, look at this cool thing someone made, but yeah, they clearly don't have a full grasp of the community. And I'm hoping that this time around, because they're definitely going to do it on Bethesda.net. I mean,
I honestly have a feeling they don't, if it's not on their forums, or on the hot files page, they don't see it.
Sure.
That's my general feeling. It's like they're... Yeah. It's like they're the majority of the wannabe mod reviewers out there.
Yeah.
Literally do a mod review on the 5 files in the hot files.
Sure, yeah.
So I mean, that's I get where you're coming. It makes sense. I don't know. From a company, like I can't. I can give them shit, but from a company perspective, like fuck it, they don't give a shit. They made $1 billion off Fallout 4.
Oh yeah.
If they can make $1 billion more off of mods and paid modding, they're gonna do it. Like, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I'd be like, screw you guys.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure they thought it was going to be welcomed with open arms, and there were a lot of authors that were really into it. Like I said, I was hesitant, but I'm not dead set against the idea as long as it's done right and the quality's there. And the big thing is the support, like you said. Them just flipping a switch and going, okay, you can just start charging money now, and not offering any kind of support. And what are they going to do for load order management? What are they going to do? I mean, there's still so many questions.
Oh, it goes worse than that. It's I think I brought it up in my rant video or whatever. And for people who don't know, I'm going to bring it up again.
Do it.
Steam basically has our EULAs and the policies they had on Steam were basically Steam's legal agreement when we were going to do, I looked at the whole thing, when I do paid modding, Steam's legal agreement covered Steam. It didn't cover the modder. And people are like, well, suing over a video game. Yes, people at some point will start suing over a video game. They just can't win against a big corporation. But if they see me getting, 30, 40,000 downloads and somehow my mod breaks their game and they filed a lawsuit, which any individual can do, it's really easy. It's extremely easy to file a lawsuit. If they filed a lawsuit against Steam, against my mod, Steam would have literally just been the worst fucking linebacker in history and just stood aside and opened their arms and said, there he is, and given away my address, my personal information, everything to their lawyer without a second hesitation, because they didn't have to, and they had no legal. There's in business, if you're going to be a retailer and resell, you're a legal stopgap for the person you're buying stuff from. That's why you always do research on what you're buying.
Sure.
If Sears sells something that ends up killing my kid, I sue Sears. The lawsuit goes through, and if Sears loses, then they sue the person who they bought the product from. Sears doesn't just hand the keys to the person they brought the product from. Right. That's what Steam was going to do, and that was the biggest problem I had with it.
There was so many just blanket, everything was just, nothing was refined. It was all very blanket. It was just a crappy rollout. So we'll see what they do again, and there's going to be another revolt, but I think if they do it right this time, it'll be a little bit better. And I mean, it's way too early for me to say, fuck no, I'll never charge a dime for any mod ever, forever free stamp on everything,
Hell, I'll charge everybody for everything.
I don't know I don't know if I'll charge, and if I do, it would definitely be something agreeable, like, the timed kind of exclusive thing. I thought wasn't a bad idea.
Oh, that was a great idea. You could do immersive 4K retextured storms.
There you go. or finally release my SkySight skins. What is it? The SOS patch everyone's been begging for like a year. Because I'm excited to make 4K penis textures. That's what I live for.
Slongs of Skyrim. So exactly. Good. If anybody doesn't know, there's your gem.
Not knocking everyone, but I'm just saying, it's.
I'll knock everyone for you.
It's still coming. No pun intended.
Can't make me laugh. I'm gonna cough. I can't hit my mute button in time.
18 and over only on this stream. Anyway, so I guess that's.
Come on, people get offended at my recordings. They're like, "You say the word retarded." I'm like, if that's all you're getting offended about, you clearly haven't watched more than 4 minutes.
Yeah,
of any of my
go
videos.
Back through. There's lots more to get.
There's a ton. You can just get offended at all of it. So, just going forward, what's your plans for Fallout 4? Like, what do you want to do? Like, quests, armors, new what do you want?
Sure. So I miss Skyrim a little bit. I feel like Fallout 4 was a lot of fun, but it didn't really pull me in the way Skyrim did. I think it's because it's a lot more on rails. I think it's easy to, or nobody would disagree that it's a lot more casual.
Just in case, so people don't know, I'm muting my mic and having coughing fits. He can still hear me. So if it distracts him, you know why? He starts to sound a little distracted.
If I stop and repeat myself, it's because I wasn't sure of the coughing. Okay, well, I'll just keep talking over the coughing then.
Yeah, I'm muting it every time. I just realized that you can still hear the cough. I was like, oh yeah.
All good. So short answer, because I'll keep babbling otherwise. I had too much coffee. I definitely plan on making more mods. I am looking at possibly doing my SkySight skins mod for Fallout. So, body textures for male and females. there will be a lot of people that will crucify me if I do females for Fallout before I finish the ones for Skyrim. So I'm kind of trying to juggle those things. As I've gotten more and more into modding, like I said, I started out with textures and I've gotten into kind of bigger things. Quests, they do seem pretty interesting. When I get ideas for quests, they get too big, and I think I'm going to leave those on the back burner for now. But I do have a couple other mods that are in progress that I will need the CK to finish up. So I'm going to be expanding True Storms to have some other unique functionality I won't mention yet. And then there are just a couple other gameplay things that I think are going to be pretty interesting. Some stuff with lighting. So I've got a few things up my sleeve, but I'm definitely not. I'm not leaving Skyrim. I've got a few projects there, as people know. Like I've actually been ignoring some of my comments on my Skyrim mods. I'll get a notification there's like 100 new comments on some of my mods, and it's people I'm sure ranting about me taking so long. But I'm going to be balancing
both. Pretty much just bailed on Skyrim. I'm like done.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of did that for like a month and a half. I just didn't even look at it, but I'm kind of getting back to it. So anyway, short answer, I definitely have some stuff coming up for Fallout.
Cool. And just because you need to sound more like a dick, 'cause you sound way too nice. Like, what's the worst comment you've ever got that you deleted or did? What do you?
Oh man, well, let's see. It's more than a specific comment as much as a type of comment.
That works.
So the one thing, if anyone's listening and they feel like typing this out, don't do it. When people who clearly have never made a mod in their life, have never opened up Xedit, are trying to, or maybe they've opened it once, are trying to say that there's a problem and tell me what the problem is when they literally have no idea. And more than that, arguing when I clearly highlight exactly what the real problem is and they refuse to believe it. So
I get you. I was like, that actually slipped my mind because I just start deleting them. Like, yeah. I had one guy who's like, actually we just had that. We just had that on Molag Bal's Inferno. Actually somebody made a bug report and said that every time they start the game, the carriage flips over and over and over again on a new game. Does your mod do this? And so I put yes, it was our secret troll to try to get you to accept Jesus into your hearts, because there was this big thing about our mod was a Christian propaganda thing from some post thing. And then I've had that too, where somebody was like, I think it was for my craftable wells. They were like, this does something and whatever, and makes a character like 5 times bigger and makes pink textures. I'm like, this mod adds 1 static.
Yeah.
And 1 constructible object.
Yeah.
It's well, I just uninstall this one and it stops. I'm like,
yeah,
it's
people
not possible.
People don't realize it's like another good example that I saw of that was, and by the way, this person, I never delete anything and I always try to respond to every comment, but people just flamed this guy in the posts because he was just obviously being a jerk. But there was another recent mod, I can't remember which one, it was a popular one. And there were 2 or 3 comments where people were saying, every time I open the face edit menu, it crashes. It's this mod. You got to fix it. You got to fix it. And it turned out that all 3 of these people, they were all using one of the new guns that had just came out that had a problem because a lot of the new gun meshes aren't still fully fleshed out. And so if you had that gun equipped when you went to the face menu, that's what crashed it. So it had nothing to do with his mod. It was the combo of mods. But people just can't really get their head around that. They're like, no, I disabled this mod and it worked. And so it's your mod and changing the color makes it crash. Or like, what? That doesn't work that way.
And that's the other thing that gets me too, is the people who troubleshoot for 45 seconds.
Right.
I troubleshoot a mod for like 7 hours trying to find the conflict. Like, you're not going to figure it out that quick, guys.
Sure. And yeah, don't fight with me if I nicely explain what it really is, and then you're like, no, it's like, okay, man.
So you're too nice responding to every comment. Like, you've probably seen my stickies. It's like, these posts will get deleted.
I should
get you banned from my files.
Yeah, I should take notes, I guess, from that. I can't help it. I'm one of those. I try to make everybody happy, and sometimes it takes too many hours.
Nah, I adopted that one after the temp ban thing, because I was like, because they were like, we'll make it clear on your thing that you're not going to take it. I'm like, I've put up there before, I'm not taking retexture requests, and like 80% of the comments are retexture requests. I found that putting, I will ban you from my files, and rigorously enforcing it. Like, my ban list went from 2 people at the start of Fallout to over 200 right now.
Wow.
I'm just
crazy.
Done with it. I'm just hitting the ban button because I'm like, I'm done.
Shortcut, yeah.
It's just too aggravating to come back and see like, oh, you got 20 comments on your mod page, and 18 of them are them requesting you to do more work.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no.
Yeah, I've had a few requests, but they're pretty nice. Like they've been totally out of left field. Like, oh, can you make the werewolves do backflip? I mean, just weird shit.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah, I get those too.
I'm like, what? I've never even gone near that. But, you know, I'm like, sorry, no interest, you know, but.
I've had, can you like port this armor from Oblivion? I'm like, I didn't even start modding until after Oblivion.
Yeah. Like, what?
I don't even know how that stuff works. Like, I quit. Oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank. I'm tired too a little bit. The anything else you want to talk about? Like, just open mic there. You can go on about anything, rant about something. People are not listening by this point because we're 20 minutes in.
Yeah, we're probably near the tail end, so people are probably checked out by now.
They're putting this on to fall asleep is what they're doing.
There you go. It's the soothing voices of us talking.
ASMR shit.
No, I think overall, I think the community is really cool. I'm actually surprised at how fast the Fallout 4 community pulled together to work on a lot of standards, like the slot standards for you know, body parts and
I saw that.
clothing.
I haven't really looked at it, but they actually did. They set up a so people who don't know. We'll explain that one for a second. Is you have a limited number of body slots available for equipping stuff. So you've got your normal ones that you see in the game, and then there's 25, 35 more?
I think in Fallout 4, I think it's something like 20 or something like that, yeah.
There's just 20, and they're just like slot 55, slot 56. It's just extra places, but it basically takes up an inventory spot, or a spot on your body where you can put armor.
Right.
So, and one of the problems we had with Skyrim was, I think that was discovered a little more late.
Sure.
And what happened was, I was guilty of it, because I did it in some of my mods where I needed to equip stuff in different slots, and I would just pick a random one and equip something because there was no standard. It's just, basically you've got the list of head, shoulders, feet, legs, and then it's like unknown 1, unknown 2 through unknown 30.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, pick one, whatever works.
And then somebody's like, well, my glasses went away because this guy used glasses in that slot.
Yeah.
And so they set up a thing where, you know, this slot would be for this, so people wouldn't overwrite other people's stuff.
Right.
And
honestly, even still, in Skyrim, they never really completely pulled together.
No.
So, you know, you'll get a backpack mod that will make somebody suddenly be without pants on, you know, and like, it's kind of funny when it happens, but it's annoying to do stuff with leveled lists and whatnot because you can't predict, you know, it's kind of a pain. And the way that the Skyrim armature and stuff worked, you had to edit the mesh and sometimes the mesh and the plugin to make the slots match.
That's a good.
So
point.
it's just
right.
it's a nightmare.
Do you know if you have to do that yet in Fallout? Because I haven't messed with stuff.
I don't think you have to. No, I've changed a number of stuff, changed their slots without having to touch it. The only thing I couldn't figure out was like hoods, but whatever.
Yeah, because you're right. You had to go into the skin modifier and then
exactly and specify there as well. Sometimes it would work and sometimes not. I don't know what the difference was, but yeah. So jumping back, I guess you know, with the crafting keywords, everybody kind of banded together and got a standard for that. With the armor keywords, everybody pulled that together. So it's pretty cool and everybody's been using it. So going forward, it's like there's a lot of cool standards in place that were not there with Skyrim. So that's been pretty impressive.
And they're going to get completely fucked when Bethesda releases the
yeah, that's true. Yeah. When the beta patch and the CK are probably going to introduce some weird changes. But, you know, whatever. People are willing to adapt, I think. So
that's why I keep getting asked. I was talking with Nova earlier because they got Steuk, I guess, the guy who did Settlement Keywords is doing, I don't know if he's on vacation or something. So somebody else is maintaining SK for like a week or two and they're going to revamp it a little bit and add different keywords. And she's asking me if I wanted any specific keywords, like, and I was like, no. I was like, I'm never going to add my mods to it. I says until at best after the creation kit. Yeah. Because you know Bethesda's looking at in settlement modding being as big as it is, which is it's huge. It's one of the. It's actually it's a two-edged sword for me because it actually signals that they failed in the base game in some ways. That settlement building is one of the biggest fun things to do in the game. Right. And that's why I'm clearly interested in quest mods. I want to put some the Constitution, best quest mod in there. Totally. I couldn't stop laughing. I actually played it through twice just to see what happened on both sides.
Yeah, same here.
That's the one quest that was
it's like, so good. Yeah.
Back. And I wanted more crazy. Like but it seemed like everything was just bland for them. I mean, there was some cool quests. Don't get me wrong. There's some cool intrigue quests.
Yeah, but there's nothing that's when I think about Fallout 3 and New Vegas, there's just left and right memories stand out. Yeah.
And I never modded those, but I actually played through Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, and it's been a while, so my memories could be skewed toward the it's always better nostalgia. But I do remember there being a little bit more crazy in there.
Yeah, there definitely was.
And excuse me, that one went through. the crazy has been fun to me. I mean, 200 years, and that's it's gonna be nuts. But
yeah,
I went off on a tangent, completely forgot what I was starting on there.
Oh, you're talking about how the workshop stuff was a double-edged sword, and
yeah, because it's the settlement building is, I just saw a guy put up one where he spent 200 hours on making like every settlement insane, and he's gonna put it up as like a download for people, and
Jesus,
everybody's loving it. And then there's all those hundreds of videos of people settlement building, people spending hundreds and hundreds. People have spent more time playing settlement building, I bet you, at this point in the game, and Bethesda's internals acknowledged this. They actually put out a press release thing before they released the game that their internal testing, people were spending more time in the settlement building, even though it was kind of hashtagged in as a last. That's why I think they're going to completely revamp it, because they didn't really start the settlement thing was put in as a afterthought.
Sure.
I mean, anything from first quarter of 2015 onward was, if it was instituted, it was more of an afterthought. And somebody had the idea to put it in, and then they found out that people were playing with it, even in its base form, way more than anything else. So they started adding
scratching that like Minecraft itch or whatever. Yeah.
But it's not fully fleshed out, clearly,
sure.
as anybody who's done settlement building and added mods knows, because if you add too many keywords,
it explodes. Yeah.
The snapping is buggy at points, the collision, because things snap to collision at points, and it's like, and it's I don't know, that always that kind of triggers me, is like, wow, guys, the best draw for this game is build a base.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, I could pull apart my full review opinions on the game for sure, but yeah, that's definitely something that stuck out to me. Like, I mean, and it's kind of cool that, for me at least, during the first part of the playthrough, when I was playing the main quest, it felt good kind of doing a quest, coming back to the home base, building a little bit, you know what I mean, that kind of back and forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, and as far as longevity goes, the pretty much the only thing in the game that I think has a lot of longevity is the workshop stuff. I definitely don't see myself playing the main quest again.
Yeah, I see. I actually do. When I played through my second time, I shot Preston in the face. And I was angry when he didn't die. And then, yeah, and I kind of just, I don't even know if I don't build that much. I mean, I don't know if you've seen my I can't build worth shit. My videos, it looks like a kid with Tourette's is building crap. It's probably why I don't do it. It's like, I have no artistic sense. I'm just like, put this here. I even make the things, and then I can't even put them together right.
I couldn't figure it out at first. Like, the first time I started trying to build stuff, I was like, how does this even work? There's no tutorial. It was
that's
just,
right. There wasn't in the game, was there?
None. So I put some floor pieces down, and then I was like, what? And stuff I thought would snap didn't. And I was like, I have no idea what this is. And so it was only through, I think it was after, maybe 15 hours in the game, when I got about halfway through the quests, I was like, all right, I think I'm going to actually try this out, because I really would like to have a non-shitty player house, And I finally figured it out. But yeah, they barely did anything. They're like, oh, there's a whole help section. I'm like, who reads a help section? Like, they're not going to read a manual. You got to do that shit in game.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't realize that there wasn't really one there.
Yeah.
And you're right. I think I did the same thing, because I didn't realize how much settlement building was actually like. I guess it doesn't matter if you're a real scavenger scrapper and just power leveling through, but like, if you actually do the settlement building and crap, you can get a lot of benefits from it too, as far as just like personal progression through there.
Yep.
But I don't know. We'll see where things go. Yeah, we've been rambling on for 28 minutes. 30 minutes sounds like a good cutoff for these stupid videos.
Sure. I mean, I could blab forever, so 30 is probably a good point.
Well, any last words you want to tell people? Like, I don't know.
No, just huge thanks to everybody in the Fallout community that didn't know of my work in Skyrim. They've all been really welcoming. I've had just a crazy amount of downloads on True Storms. It's at like 22,000 endorsements right now. I think I might have passed 500,000 downloads. It's like unreal. So yeah, just thanks to the community for being open and welcoming to someone that did not do any mods for Fallout 3. Yeah, that's it. And thanks for having me on your little show here.
Because he sounds too nice. Fuck freeloaders. Screw yourselves. Go donate to the man. He made Storms. I don't know what it does. I'm like the worst promoter, because I downloaded your mods. It wouldn't matter if I downloaded them. Like, I could download it and I wouldn't even know. Like, I'm just running around building shit.
Yeah. Oh, you'll know. I mean, I could tell you in 10 seconds. It's I made like 30 new thunder sounds from scratch. I mean, I use natural sources, of course.
I'm always making videos and testing building mods. Every time a fucking radiation storm happens, I'm like, fuck you, and I'm going to the bed and sleeping.
Like, clear this weather out.
It's fucking. Somebody said there's there's a console command to clear weather. I don't know what the hell.
Yeah, there is.
I'm the worst modder ever. I just go sleep for 12 hours and I'm like, then it rains, then I'm like, God, it's fucking sleep for
FW2B52A and you'll get clear weather. I know every stupid weather code by heart now.
That's the weather code?
Yeah, 2B52A. Hold on, FW is force weather.
Oh, okay, force weather and then the form ID.
Yeah.
Okay. That's right. I'm also terrible. I put the zeros in front. I'm an idiot.
I used to do that too, and then I realized you didn't have to.
I know I don't have to. I know I haven't have to for 2 years, and I still put the zeros. It's like an OCD thing. It's so terrible. Sure. I'm like 0004376. I'm like,
yeah, it's like the player ID is I think 14, so that's a lot of zeros you're typing.
I do. I put the freaking zeros. I'm so
zero. Oh well. What? So yeah, those are I guess my final words. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thanks for modding it, and I'm hitting stop record.
All right, bye bye.